All right, we're going to look at questions 4 and 5 from the unit conversions worksheet in our practice packet. I like to work these problems out with you guys just because they are a little bit more challenging. Question number 4, sometimes just converting from yards into the metric system and then going from centimeters to meters within the metric system. You know, we're doing both parts, and so sometimes kids get a little tripped up on that. Question number 5, we've got 2 units here. We've got centimeters in the numerator and seconds in the denominator, and we're going to convert both of those. So that sometimes just becomes a little bit complex, so I want to make sure that I work those out for you guys. So let's first look at question number 4. It says 54 yards, and we're going to convert that to millimeters. So when I look at the chart that I am provided of conversions, I am starting in yards, and I need to go in millimeters. Well, the only thing that I have in the metric system on this chart is right here, and that is centimeters. So I'll have to go from centimeters to millimeters as my very last step. But then I also see that that goes from centimeters to inches, and so I don't have a conversion that goes from centimeters to yards, but I do see that I can go from centimeters to inches, and then I should be able to convert from inches to feet. And then once I go from inches to feet, then I can go from feet to yards. So this question is also complex because you have to figure out how to get from the unit that they gave you and convert that into the unit that you want. And so this is definitely going to require more than one fraction from us. So the first thing I want to do is turn this into a fraction for my original number, so I don't add any units to that original. I just put a 1 in the denominator. So now I'm going to cancel out yards by putting that in the denominator, and we said that we're going to go from yards to feet because that is here on my chart. So from yards to feet, the bigger one gets the 1, and you can see here it's 1 yard to 3 feet. So once I do that, that's going to put my units in terms of feet, but we need to convert again. And so again, we're trying to get into millimeters, so we're going to go from feet to inches. So feet to inches, the bigger one gets the 1, 12 inches to make a foot. So now I am in inches, but I need to convert again so that I can go from inches to centimeters. So right here, we're going from inches to centimeters. And they gave me that relationship there. So now I'm going to say that there is 1 inch for every 2.54 centimeters. So that's going to convert me into centimeters. Once we are in centimeters, we are not finished because this is asking for millimeters. So we're going to cancel out our centimeters and go to our millimeters. And so that means that I am going to need to know the relationship between centi and milli. So King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. So they are only 1 column difference. To go from centi to milli, I am going to move to the right. So remember, the bigger one gets the 1, the largest units are to the left and the smallest units are to the right. So we're going to go from centi to milli. Centi is bigger, so the bigger one gets the 1. It's only 1 column away, so that's only the factor of 10 one time. So it's going to be 10 millimeters to make 1 centimeter, okay? So I would now just need to take my calculator, and I would need to multiply 54 times 3 times 12 times 2.54 times 10. And that is going to give me 49377.6, and this would be millimeters. And that is my final answer there. So 49,377.6. Just to review or show you that our units have all canceled, we had yards in the numerator and denominator, so that cancels. Feet, top and bottom, that cancels. Inches, numerator, denominator cancels. Centimeters, top and bottom cancels. And so we're left with the final answer of millimeters. Now let's look at question number 5. We're going to go from centimeters per second to miles per hour. So I'm actually going to work this as a two-step problem. We have 36 centimeters per second. So in this case, we actually have a unit located in the denominator, and that is seconds. You could leave your fraction written like this, although we've been talking about how we put the number 1 in the denominator to make it a fraction. This is technically already a fraction, but 36 is in the numerator by itself, and so we usually just choose to leave off the 1. But 36 centimeters over 1 second is what 36 centimeters per second actually means. So now we are going to set up a fraction. Now in this case, they want us to convert both centimeters to miles and seconds to hours. So I am going to choose to go ahead and convert my centimeters to miles first. So we have centimeters in the numerator. So we're going to put centimeters in the denominator. Now we are currently focusing on converting this unit here. We are ignoring the seconds for right now. Okay, so we're going to go, excuse me, from centimeters to inches, kind of using the same relationship that we used for number 4. And so we are going to say the bigger one gets the 1, and it's 2.54 centimeters for every inch. And so now my centimeters are canceled, and I'm left in inches. So I need to write another fraction where we are eliminating inches by putting that in the denominator. And we're going to go from inches to feet. Remember, these relationships were up here on our little chart. So inches to feet. 1 foot is 12 inches, and so now we are in feet, and so we're going to go from feet to miles because that information is provided on the chart. The mile is bigger, and it's 5,280 feet. Okay, so for right now, we are just focusing on that distance piece, and so we are going to say my centimeters have canceled, my inches have canceled, my feet have canceled. So when I'm done with this part of the problem, I am going to be left with the unit of miles in our numerator. That's what this series of fractions shows us. So we're going to take 36 and we're going to divide that by 2.54 divided by 12 divided by 5280, and so that is going to give me 0.00022236 blah 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 blah. So 0.00022, and that's all I have room for. Okay, so this is how many miles per second, because we still have this 1 second in the denominator here. So this is how many miles per second. So now we are going to continue the problem. So we're going to take this information and we are going to continue it, and I'm going to start a new line here. Okay, you could choose to continue writing your fractions. Obviously I am out of room on my screen, but you could just continue to add more fractions and then multiply all of it at the end. But I think for explanation purposes, most students can comprehend a little bit better if we do that math work and then we continue problems. So this is in miles per second. So now we are going to write a fraction to go from seconds to hours, right? So we're going to go from seconds to minutes. Now notice my seconds is currently in the denominator. So in order to cancel out seconds, I am going to have to write seconds in the numerator. Anything divided by itself cancels out. And so if I put seconds in the denominator, I'd end up with seconds squared. So I've got to put seconds in the numerator, okay? I'm going to go from seconds to minutes. So 1 minute, 60 seconds. And then I am going to go from minutes to hours. Again, minutes goes in the numerator so that it's present above and below the line and cancels out. The hour is bigger and it takes 60 seconds to make a minute. So now I have taken all of my units for my time and I have canceled those out. So we have seconds divided by seconds. We have minutes divided by minutes. And so that leaves us with a unit of time for hours. So now we're going to take what we already have in our calculator and we're simply going to say times 60. And then we're going to say times 60. And so that gives me 0.8052 something something. And this, I ran out of room, I'm so sorry. This is going to give me my answer in, let me change this here so we can track what we're looking at. This is going to change my answer to be in minutes. Minutes. Miles. I'm getting tongue-tied. Miles per, and then hours is in my denominator. So miles per hour. And that's exactly what they asked me to convert that to.